Hello, Manchester. My name's Mike Gonzales, aka Gonzo, and this is Manchester Famous, starring me. Because Jon Hopwood never comes anymore for some reason. I don't know what his problem is, but I think it's his back. Yeah, his back taxes or something. I don't know. Something about him just doesn't. He doesn't like to come anymore. So he gives me the show. But today, since I'm an artist and I have this opportunity, I'm going to do a freestyle drawing today. So it won't be the sizzle of the normal bacon that we have, but I'm just going to go for it. And my boy Brendan's going to kind of help me out with the production value. And if you guys want to call in, you definitely please call in. I'd love to hear your feedback at what I'm making. But I'm going to do a live drawing right for you right now. So without further ado. Oh, good. You got a good look at it. Nice. I'll be taking your standard black. This black I actually got at the dollar store, so, you don't have to be rich to be an artist. But you can get rich being an artist, so that's the funny part about it. Why don't I tell you a joke, too? Actually, I heard this joke the other day. There's three guys at a park bench, and one of them's like, I can't pee. I can't pee. And the next guy's like, really? I have a problem, going number two. And the third guy goes, you guys are crazy. I pee like a racehorse and I go number two like a cow. And they're like, what's the problem? And the third guy goes, wait, he goes, I pee every day at 7 o'clock and I go number two like a cow at 8 o'clock. And they're like, what's the problem? You're lucky you get to do that. He goes, well, the problem is I wake up at 9 o'clock. Boom. So there we go. That's the joke. I was trying to get that one out today. So we're gonna go with a robot, I think. Get your standard robot like ear thing. Did you hear about the art show? Not art show, but like end of summer festival at Veterans Park, Brandon. So I just signed up for that. So that'll be cool. It'll be the 7th, no, the 9th and 10th of September, and then I think a week later. So yeah, come check out that. That'll be cool. I'm gonna zone in here. Oh wait, we have a call from Kyle Clayton. Kyle, how you doing, buddy?
No, just woke up.
Oh, you just woke up. You're on the air, so don't say anything dumb.
Oh, cool.
Come down. I'm doing a paint, or I'm just painting live.
Talking to me on the phone.
Well, I answered the call because I'm not rude.
Uh,
But yeah, come
yeah.
down. Come down if you can.
Yeah, it sounds like a good show, bud.
All right, man. I'll see you then.
Alright.
That was Kyle Clayton. Aren't we lucky? What a guy. What a guy. He finally got back to me. So sometimes for inspiration, I'll put up like an app, and then it kind of shows my history of my projects, and then I'll pick one and kind of reference it. So and then I'll kind of keep it on my photos and, go from there because, you get your like, your standard robot girl, stuff like that. So it kind of keeps you. A reference point is key when you're making a drawing. You want to have some kind of basis to go off of. Definitely helps with perspective because perspective is the hardest thing for me. I think we'll call him Charlie. This guy looks like a Charlie. Smile him up a little bit. So, like, I kind of have different robot. Um, I've been into robots lately, really exclusively, pretty much, just because, like, I don't know, it's like the phase I'm in, like the blue period that Picasso did. Now, Brandon, do you ever do like freestyle stuff? Of course, you have to, right? You can't just stick to the. You know, who I give credit. There's a guy, James Chase. He's very popular now. He did the Manchester one on Hanover Street. He did the stairs at um, Arms Park. Very talented. His discipline is super disciplined. Oh, we have a call here. So let's take that. Good afternoon. You're on the air on Jon Hopwood's show starring Mike Gonzales.
Where's the little fella?
Jon Hopwood?
No, the other. I'm not talking about Mr. 5x5. I'm talking about the little fella with the beard.
Oh, Kyle Clayton?
Yeah, where is he?
He's on his way. Oh, that's John on the phone. Okay, I knew it. But yeah, Kyle's on his way here, and I'm doing a live painting, John.
Oh, okay, because I tune in and things look pretty slow.
Yeah, it was quiet,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll mix it up here and there. On I had a really good guest.
Yeah, but it's 4 o'clock, so they all bail out on you.
Well, speaking of it's funny you say that.
The death slot.
It's funny you say bail because this person needs bail because this person did get arrested about 2 hours ago and unfortunately couldn't make it to talk about, the everyday life of the streets of Manchester, But we move on.
He's not in the studio anyway.
Well, yeah, I didn't think of that. You're right. But anyway, it's
Yeah,
for the best.
A lot in the studio.
It's for the
Did
best.
he get busted again? We won't mention any names.
Oh, no, you don't know this one.
Oh, this is somebody else.
Yeah, this is the guy that built the big high-rise on the river. From 293, you could see it. He had a nice little spot going on there, and kind of caused a ruckus. And he was going to talk about that, but he did get hemmed up. So, what are you going to do?
We need to tape these people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we got to get people who think they know how to cure the homeless situation need to start talking to homeless people, I think, because that's kind of where you start.
Well, Kyle's not there, so he can talk a little about politics. He doesn't like politics. But there's one candidate that said for mayor, I won't say what his name is, that the solution to the homelessness problem is more housing. That's like saying the solution to war is peace. I mean, it means nothing,
I feel like a lot of the answers, I think all 4 candidates say that exact solution, like more housing, but like, where are they going to come up with $325,000,
Well, I know June Tristiani is really involved in the issue from what I hear and what I read. And I haven't endorsed Joan. I think she'd make an excellent mayor. But
well, you know what?
I know that the two people that have done the most into it are Pat Long and Bill Barry, but their solutions never gained traction. And the mayor, who went down to a Harvard, wasn't a seminar. Mayor Craig went to something that Harvard had about homeless people about 2 years ago. It was done at the Kennedy School. It was like an intensive thing about how to tackle homelessness. And so her ideas are different than Pat, who she's worked with for years, even when she was an alderman, and Bill. But people of good faith can disagree with each other.
Well, I think the problem is, as we've discussed before, but I think the main problem is coming in. Like, people are coming in. They're not. Most homeless people aren't from Manchester, because that's kind of an issue too. Like, if you think about it, why is like people from Manchester aren't the people in Manchester on the street? There's like half and half, maybe half and half. They're coming over for safe houses, and then
it's like 60% or more from
right
of the city. But we have the county jail. We're the biggest county with the two biggest cities. And then Joyce, when she was mayor, had to put up with two things. Nashua, why should we bust our budget when we can send everybody up to Manchester, which has a lot more of the facilities? And then Governor Sununu just basically screwed her. They were supposed to have the hub and spoke system, which was supposed to relieve, put some relief on Manchester. But, he got elected against Ted Gatsas and governor when they were in the primary in 2016, but basically taking a dump on Manchester. Oh, it's a hellhole of crime and homelessness. I mean, he might as well be running, against Joyce Craig for mayor. But he did that to Ted Gatsas, who was a fellow Republican. He just never helped the city of Manchester. From what I understand, in the first term, Joyce and him talked and got along, and there was some cooperation. But then, there's been talk about Joyce ever since she got elected mayor that she was going to go for governor. And he just became uncooperative by her second term.
There's no doubt that Concord does not help Manchester whatsoever right now.
Right, he just shows up if the feds gave some money and there's a big check. He shows up with one of those big checks you get down at Kinko's. I don't think they have that chain in New England.
You have to either
big, coffee.
You have to be on the bowling tour, or Sununu gives you a check to get one of those. Like, there's only two ways to get it. Or golf.
With a check that's taller than Kyle.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
if you stretched it out.
Yeah, and definitely you. But yeah, John. So, if you were to say, if someone said, Jon Hopwood, you could be mayor if you just ran, like, this is your year. Could you be a good mayor?
I need the money.
That's true. They do make
I'm
far
like
more
Rich
than.
Gerard. It's a step up for us.
Far
against the rich, he's always working. He's a hard-working guy, unlike old lazy bones here.
I think you do a good job. I really do. I think people undersell Jon Hopwood for sure, but you're not very.
Are you going to write me in?
You're not very. Your problem is you're not very likable. You don't try to be likable. Like, you don't smooth.
I'm very likable, but I don't try to be likable, and I'm just an obnoxious, obstreperous person, like many very short men are.
That's a good point.
I'm a stereotype.
Wow, that is actually true. Like,
Brendan, you're an exception, Brendan.
I don't know if that's true or not. He was just saying that short people have abrasive techniques.
I didn't say short people. I said short men. They're known for being loud mouths and big mouths because it's a protective coloration when suddenly, like, after you're 13 years old, everybody's suddenly bigger than you and can knock the crap out of you. But there's a lot of small guys that can really fight. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them.
Well, yeah. I don't think fighting should be a thing anyway.
when I grew up, it certainly was. And
Right.
later on, I found a lot of bigger guys are afraid of little guys because they fight really nasty and dirty. But the toughest guys ever met were the drill instructors in the Army that were 5.5 feet tall. I mean, holy smoke. Not only were they built, solid, like small Arnold Schwarzeneggers, they were also mean as hell,
Who's Schwarzenegger?
But I'd whip the shit. I'd whip into shape. Almost something else started to come out.
Oh, it
I'd
came
whip the
out.
city into shape. I'd put all the money in an offshore account in the Caribbean, and then you wouldn't see mayor. And I wouldn't run for re-election. I would go to one of those countries that doesn't have an extradition treaty with the United States. Hey, you could come with me.
No. But
if your wife will let you go.
nah, that's not happening. But I could do anything I want, but I'm not doing that. But also, I watched the mayor debate. I guess they call it what, a forum or something. But
Yes, it was a forum.
all four people, I gotta say, are very unique individuals and very special people. I feel like there's no slouch this year, and I feel like when you talk about, I think it's Kavanaugh, you're talking about Triciani, talk about Will Stewart, and
Yeah, that's true.
who's the other one? Who's the other one?
Jay Ruiz.
Oh yeah,
I don't really know.
That's
a Spanish pronunciation, but he's Brazilian, so
he
you really
came to
pronounce
my
his name differently.
he came to my house knocking on the door, and of course I took his time up, and he was super super nice, and I like his everything about him, and that's such an advantage when you do that, when you go talk to people, spend that 10 minutes. He gave me his cell phone number. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, that cell phone number should expire after the election, just like a Inspector Gadget note that he gets, when it blows up after he reads it. Because
may or may not, he is working really hard. He's been working hard a long time.
Awesome. I love him, dude. But I'm not voting for him, but I do like him. And he is in Ward 1. He had his work cut out for him. You like Triciani. I like Kevin Kavanaugh. So we'll see what happens.
You and I both endorsed Kevin Kavanaugh.
You just said you endorsed June. You just said that.
I didn't say I endorsed her.
You absolutely did.
I think June would be an excellent mayor. I didn't say endorsed her. We endorsed Kevin Kavanaugh earlier in the year, remember? Both of us.
Because, you know why?
They never use our name, so,
You know why I'm going with him, right?
Why?
Because our current mayor said to. Like, I got to go with her on that one. Like, if she's on board with it, then, that's my pick. So it goes a long way to have her support. It goes a long way, I'm sure.
When I wrote the petition for Bill Cashin asking for a conduct board to investigate Ted Gatz's cover-up of the high school rape during the 2015 election, only 2 aldermen voted for it, and that was Danny O'Neill and Kevin Kavanaugh. So, for Kevin Kavanaugh sticking up and showing that he had such courage, because Gatzis, from what I understand, came down on every alderman and, pressured them like hell.
Yeah, well...
And twisted their arms and threatened them. That's just hearsay. But, good sources. But Kevin Kavanaugh, who was new to the board, he stood up to him. And I can never forget that. But him and June, he's going to be a traditional mayor. He'll have an easier time with the board because he's known them all. June, who's new, will have a tough time with the board, but so did Joyce Craig, and she knew them and worked with them. Because the board and the mayor are two different, it's like Congress and the president. They should be all, think of them as a team, but, they have different roles to play.
And there's no doubt that the 12, or I guess 14 board members are way more important than the mayor as a unit.
But no, but they're going to, because of Joyce's brand new, and there was a transition. They were going to prove that they were more important than her. It took her a whole term to curb them and exert herself.
Well, a mayor can't do a thing without them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
she has to deal with the reality.
if people think it's all her fault, it's ridiculous. People think that the mayor has a say in things. It's crazy.
See, here's the thing, though. When you're in the Army, you're all like an E4 or corporal. Then you go in front of a board to become a sergeant, which is, that's a substantial rank and an enlisted person. And so I was the first person amongst my friends who became a sergeant. So all my friends turned on me because suddenly I have power over them. I outrank them, and then I've given a whole barracks, and I have to order them to do something. They all hated me until they became sergeants too, and then we became friends again. So suddenly, like Joyce had been enlisted, and that now she was promoted to mayor.
That's actually a decent point because, first of all, I'm not confident that you weren't a total,
Oh, yeah, I was a real SOB.
I can only imagine you with power.
I
But
weighed 135 pounds. And,
so annoying.
Guys are much bigger than you, and the Army is very primitive, so you have to be really nasty. And because I was nasty and a demonstrative person, they used to give me all sorts of all dirty jobs, and I got to do.
But you make a good point because she has been there and she was a peer. And when someone gets hired internally within at any company, it's a weird type of dynamic. But the thing is, she was a pit bull as an alderman. She was like, she went at Gonzales like nobody, and it was pretty cool.
Her and Danny, yeah.
And he's trying to get his spot back too, correct?
But see, when Danny O'Neill is the chairman of the board, where she's the chair of the board, but he's the chairman of the board. So Gatsis is gone, and suddenly he's going to exert himself as the chairman of the board, as the alderman. Bill Cashin, he used to make the Mayor Shaw, step out of the podium. He used to bust him all the time, and that's what he believed, that the aldermen it was them that were the primary force. But see, they under the new charter in '97 that was passed in '97 and came in effect '98. Well, the '97, it's a different board. It gave more power to the mayor, and we can talk about that forever. And if you actually read the charter, because it's an amalgamation of the old and the new, they were actually talk about it. There's the mayor, and there's the board of mayor and aldermen, and then there's the board of aldermen. It's like it was never completely worked out. So the mayor and the leading people on that board are going to work out those relationships just like boys in a schoolyard, before there was Ritalin, or before they drugged everybody. I mean, there's a pecking order. And Joyce went through a really hard year.
Well, she also, from what I heard, got no support coming in. No transitioning. No matter who wins, if it's Will Stewart, she's not going to be the same. It won't be the same way when she took over, which was absolutely nothing for support from Gatsis. He was butthurt, and he was kind of a jerk about it, to be honest, if I would have to say something. Well, no matter what, she won't do that, though. She has class. He was really upset that he didn't expect her to beat him. That's the thing.
Let's not get into that.
Well, she did win, and it's her job, so why would you not? What's best? Why wouldn't you want what's best for Manchester by transitioning into her job?
When we come the next board, I think, like I said, Kevin is closer and has more experience, but yet Joyce came off the board too and had a hard time exerting herself, but she did it. She had to fight back the natural proclivity of the aldermen themselves to want to exert the power more of them as aldermen.
Macro
And,
proclivity? Macro
So
proclivity? That's
he's going to have to deal with that. June will face an even worse time, I think. But I think she has the personality, and I would think right now, I think she's probably the favorite to win.
I don't know. You think
And,
so? Really? Well, she's hot right now, and this is her chance. If she doesn't win this time, she'll probably won't win again. Like, this is her hot skillet time, you know? So,
Probably, yeah.
this is
She's
where
a
she's
hard
trending
worker.
hard. Yeah.
She's the only woman on the ballot.
It's a good point. And she came out of nowhere and beat Dan O'Neill and Gooden last alderman.
On a first try.
Two
Shows you
hot
how hard
shots.
she is, how well known she is, how well liked she is. But if she becomes mayor, she's going to have a tough time.
Of course.
But
I mean,
she has the personality, I think, to prevail eventually, you know. But it'll be a test of wills. But of course, it's going to be a different board. There's going to be a lot of turnover. Now, Will Stewart, I just don't see him. I see the alderman just manhandling him.
it's so funny you say she's the favorite. Like, everybody I talk to says Will Stewart is the favorite.
I don't know anybody that says Will Stewart's the favorite. Most people pick that it's going to be, well, Ruas is going to get the Republican vote, which is a third.
I think they're banking on Will Stewart to be the Republican guy, really. I mean, two people. So what they'll do, okay.
Yeah,
so
but
two
he's
people.
not a Republican.
You don't think, who do you think the top two will be then?
Most people
after the
between
primary.
Kevin and June.
Really? Interesting.
They're both incredibly well known.
Of course.
The other advantage June has, even though she's only been on the board 2 years, although she's been involved in things for a lot longer, she's been an alderman at large. She's dealt with people all over the city.
Right.
Even though it's only 2 years. I've never dealt with Will Stewart. I've never even talked to him in all the years he's been on the board. He is the Ward 2 alderman, has done a good, excellent job for Ward 2. But the other day he was saying about the union leader, I was just reading, what have you done? You know, you just can't say, what have you done? What's Will Stewart done? He's got those, he's made some streets that were double lanes, which were dangerous, into single lanes with these huge bicycle lanes that I don't see anybody using.
That's pretty good, though.
And I'm glad he did it because I almost got killed on one of those streets and somebody was
there you go, John.
coming down the wrong way. You know,
Why can't you can't say he did nothing then? He saved your life. I mean, you know?
But that's Ward 2. He also doesn't know anything, I think, about the West Side. He wrote a book before he ran for alderman, and he said the main drag, the main street of the West Side is Kelly Street. That's an absurdity. The main street of the West Side is Main Street and South Main, which becomes South Main Street. Kelly Street's over in Little Quebec in Ward 11. You know, the Main Street goes through 2 wards and gets almost to 12. But a lot of people don't know Ward 12. But June's over in Ward 12 working. She's got support like the Hamers. The Hamers love, Gary and Heidi just love June, and they're working their buns off for her.
Buns, yeah. And have you ever used the bathroom at Chez Vachon? It's very short. Very short.
With Bill and Hillary Clinton, Danny,
So what I'm looking for, I'm looking for them to fix the bathrooms at Chez Vachon. That's really all I care about because I went there and it's I'm a bigger guy and it's not easy to go. Number 2. I'm gonna say number 2. It's not easy to go, and I like to sketch while I go. It's not a good bathroom for that. So I would like the next mayor to do that, like fix that.
Folks, Chez Vachon is off Kelly Street. Is on Kelly Street. That's what we're talking. That's why he's brought it up. What does a mayor have to do with a private business like that?
Well, I just want them to fix it. That's all. I didn't like it.
Why didn't you just go and pick it or do something?
Maybe There's some good bathrooms out there that no one knows about, but that's not one. That's not a good one. But the place is amazing. Like their hams, wow. But yeah, I think I don't know. I don't think you're right. I think it's going to be Will Stewart and Kavanaugh. It will be the two people going against each other
How will Will Stewart beat June Triciani?
because they're both get Democrats. I know it's nonpartisan, but I think it'll be one of each. I think
Will Stewart only became a Democrat this year, so he could. He could.
See, I consider Will Stewart a Republican, to be honest. If he's getting in my eyes, he's getting support from all the people I talk about. Like if you think about Tim Baines, you think about his dad. They're Republican in my eyes, and they're the ones like kind of shooting his name out there, like in support. So I would say Will Stewart I didn't even know he was a Democrat. Again, this is a nonpartisan race.
He wasn't a Democrat till this year. It's a practical thing he did because if he wasn't a Democrat, first off, he wouldn't get the support of the Democratic Party. When the chief ran for...
You talk about Goonan?
Chief Goonan ran for...
at large.
Register as a Democrat. He is a
really?
Democrat now, but it was too late because the Republicans wouldn't help him at all because they didn't consider him a Republican, and of course the Democrats couldn't help him because he wasn't a Democrat.
When he ran for
to get the Democrats to throw you on the literature and spend the money for you, and so he was non-committed. And then he became a Democrat. But June and Kevin have been Democrats like me, from time immemorial, since we were, old enough to buy our first. June's younger than me and Kevin. When I was a kid, when I was 18, you could buy booze.
Well, I'm sure you still get carded, but I would say that.
I haven't been carded in a while, baby.
Well, it sucks that you can't go on that roller coaster at Canopy Lake. That was hard to hear the other day. But
I can't anymore because I used to complain, but then I gave up because my back is so bad.
In your short, but I would also say that switching parties, we know. Like I'm a Democrat. I know the people. I know Goonan's not a Democrat. I know Will Smith is not a Democrat. Will Stewart is not a Democrat. So you can kind of do that because Goonan ran at large as a Republican. Now he's the word what? Yeah, that to me, that's Democrat if you ask me, because.
He should have if he had switched to the Democratic Party 2 years ago, he would have beaten Joe Levasseur.
Probably.
He lost by 90 votes.
And he better watch his butt, too, because now that Dan O'Neill's got a little fire under him coming at it, but I guess there's not enough at-large big hitters to, especially with June leaving.
I think Dan O'Neill's going to get reelected because
he'll win.
Levasseur will get more votes than any candidate.
Right.
It's June.
Levasseur will win, and I think Dan will win because. So if June loses mayor, you can't run for both, obviously.
Because Will Infantine never seems to be able to win a city election, and so he's the only other candidate who could possibly win. But if like a Rich Girard was running, he might have won. But Rich didn't run for that or for school board at large. But no, I would say that June's going to be in the final two, and if she's the mayor candidate because of her personality, I can see her, getting more votes than Levasseur.
If she's the mayor candidate against Kavanaugh, she'll win. If Kevin Kavanaugh is against Will Stewart, he'll win. That's the way I look at it.
I don't see.
But
Will
if June
Stewart
will win, like June wins. June wins. She wins stuff,
I see Will Stewart as the number 4 because Ruiz has an outside chance if the Republicans come out and the Republicans and people are spinning. They're going to spend $300 million on improving the schools. But, of course, that's over like 10 years. But, of course, the way people are going to spend it, it's like $300 million right now. You know what I mean? They're going to hit us with $300 million right now.
Well,
and so that might give Ruiz a boost.
Ruiz is very likable, but not known.
Being a big issue.
He won't get elected, and I'll tell you why. And this is awful. I go through it. My name's Mike Gonzales. People don't know me. There's a lot of, I hate to say it, there's a lot of people that look at names. There's names that are better to people than others. And I'm glad he stopped by my house, and I probably kept him longer than he wanted to be there. But I was talking to him. He's a cool dude. And I would never have known that. He would have been my fourth. But now I still think he's still going to get fourth. I don't know. I don't think you're giving Stewart enough play here. I think you're just being biased a little bit.
No, this is the way I see it.
Right, biasly.
Will Stewart has never said or done anything. He's never spoken at a meeting. He doesn't really have much of a personality.
He does not.
He might be a very nice person or anything. But at one point I knew everybody on the board of Aldermen. But even when he was on, and the time I knew everybody, I didn't really know him. Never spoke to him. He never
You're right.
out or never spoke to me.
You're right. And the thing that helped Victoria Sullivan is her personality. You need a little bit of quirkiness. You need someone to be relatable. And I don't want to call June that, but she's that. Like, she won at the last heat because of people like, oh, I'm kind of like that. I'm kind of like, whatever.
I think June is going to be our mayor, is the next mayor.
Well, that would be...
What people that I respect that are insiders and younger than, like Bob Baines, who certainly has a lot of experience. Bob Baines came out of really nowhere, and...
Right, I didn't expect him to be...
That was a tough election he won.
I didn't expect him to come in and be like, I want to be a school board member. Not at all. But he was a mayor, and now he wants to do this. It's cool.
He is passionate about schools.
I love it.
They need to do something about the schools, because the schools are falling apart.
Well, they did address that the other night. They had, I think, 7, 8 maybe potential spots, which I did want to go over that list at some point because it is interesting to hear that they would take down Gill Stadium to do it, or they would take down or put a Dairyfield Country Club. Like, that kind of blows my mind that they would think about doing something like that. I'm sure they make a list with the fact in their back of their mind. They're not taking Dairyfield Country Club is not going to get turned into a high school because Dairyfield Country Club is super profitable and super popular in the perfect part of town. There's nothing wrong with it, so why would they fix that,
I think that...
Why put it on the list? It's stupid. It's a waste of time.
There's going to be a big reaction against, amongst certain people, amongst the spending plans. The way the spending plans have been presented, I think there's going to be a reaction that will show up in the election. Because
what about
the city doesn't need a new high school?
Is it? Well, they do actually, John. They do.
They don't. High school. You're using the old paradigm. That's the old industrial psychology.
No, you're wrong. I hate to say it.
Between the two world wars, you don't need high schools. You should have smaller schools. The whole idea of having a high school is so friggin' old-fashioned and
from a sport.
That
Okay,
existed for years.
Listen, from a sports perspective, and I did agree with you, but now that I'm like, knee deep in calling these sports games,
in the hoo-ha, you're knee deep in the what?
What's that mean? What'd you call it?
Well, there was a song by.
It's your show, bro.
Starship,
So,
deep in the something.
Yeah. Anyway,
we
up to my.
Want to dance here.
Now that I'm in the water, swimming in the water of high school sports, I would say it is. Selfishly, I want them to merge because there's nothing happening. I'm sorry, but every sport, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, there's like one playoff team emerges and You're playing Girton, you're playing Nashua, you're playing Pinkerton, you're playing Londonderry. These are schools that have 100, 200 people come out for tryouts, and we're already doing it. We're merging teams already. Hockey is Manchester Memorial and
This is
Central.
Manchester, New Hampshire. We're not any of the places that you talked about, except maybe a little Nashua. The old factory. A high school is a factory, an education factory. Jesus Christ!
You're a
so
factory.
It's so old-fashioned. It's so ridiculous. It's just something the builders want to build.
Have some pride in your school. That Beach Boy song. You know that.
Jesus, these schools don't even teach. We have the worst schools in the entire state. The idea, it's like, oh well, let's throw another how many billions into the Vietnam War, and we still lost.
Well, you can't not. Okay, that's an interesting comparison, but kids got to go to school, and you might as well have it where they're getting a little better credit. Because Central used to be a very highly regarded school. You could get into Harvard if you went to Central back in '95. Now Central doesn't really get you that.
Harvard if you went to Hodgepodge Lodge, if you were smart enough.
But accredited.
You need a great LSAT. You need a great SAT scores.
Not really, because Harvard goes by the system, a program of scoring, and the accreditation, like the score that the high school gets helps get them in. Just like,
Central High School ever rated high?
Back then, yeah, it was. It really was, dude. It was, and Central picked from Pembroke, Auburn, Hooksett, all over the place. North end of Manchester. There was a lot. There's 3,000 people there. Now there's 1,200. What's up with that?
Did you ever hear of Phillips Dexter Academy or Andover or Concord Academy or Groton or these schools?
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I never.
People from Harvard and Yale come from.
No, well.
If somebody gets, how many people? If somebody got into friggin' Harvard from Central, that's an anomaly, and it had nothing much to do with the ranking of the school, unless they gave them some sympathy points.
Well, the ranking's way down now, and I think more bodies in the school, more money.
Oh, boy.
And the teachers are going to get excited. People want new things, too, John. Like, the teachers are going to get reinvigorated. They're going to...
Public school is a racist holdover of white supremacy.
Well, don't tell anyone that.
Who created public schools? It was my ancestors, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants from East Anglia that friggin' settled New England. They're the ones who created public schools. As a Protestant, a Congregationalist, which is Puritan, they called them in the old days, but Congregationalist now. There is nobody between you. There's no priest. There's no bishops. A minister is just a minister. In Salem, they treated the ministers horribly. That's part of the witchcraft hysteria.
Well, I got news for you. The private schools are... Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
English colonist, Protestant male, went to public school because he had to read the Bible for himself. You're talking about a white supremacist, not just white supremacist, but a WASP, hegemonistic institution that doesn't address the needs of today.
Okay.
Except for maybe the teachers union and the builders.
What's more racist? Wait. What's more racist? What's more racist, Central or Trinity?
Did you call me a racist? Because I'm going to say that.
No, I did not say.
You're a racist.
I did not. I did not. You're not a racist, John. You're not. You're the opposite. I'm saying what is more racist?
I'm a WASP, so de facto I'm a racist.
Can you stop talking for a second? This is my show today. What's more racist, Central or Trinity right now?
I've known many. The Catholic Church, for all its faults, has done a lot to ameliorate problems in the sociologist, so I'm going to pass on that one.
Well, I'll answer for you. Trinity is, and they have had their issues. Central is not. Public high school is not. It's not. I don't think it is. I
The
mean,
whole idea of public education is racist. It's white supremacy. It's a holdover from a culture that doesn't exist anymore, and a factory culture, and the old, they called it the industrial hygiene, which was a branch of psychology, that, Fordism. See, you're too young to remember all this crap.
I'm not.
You had to read old books to when I was in college from 78 to 82.
right, and
But,
I know who
So
who your
I
teacher
know
was.
I'm an educated person, so I know that public education is racist and white supremacist, so it should just be wiped off the face of the earth.
Of course, white supremacy should be wiped off the earth. Of course.
No, I'm not saying white supremacy. I'm saying public school, American public schools. We should get rid of them.
Well, we don't have.
This is my new cause.
People have no money to go to. What do you mean? They have to go. I don't know what you're talking about. Most
Well,
people
you
go to
give-
public
you
school.
You have smaller schools. Like back in the early 70s, they found out that the black kids that went to these schools run by the Black Panthers had higher scores than did black kids in like Oakland in the public school system, because the education the Panthers were giving the kids, it was not only closer to them, more not an industrial paradigm where the kids are just in a factory, but they were giving them a education that boosted their self-esteem. A lot of what the Panthers were teaching was crap, but a lot of what we learned is crap too,
Well, I think going to public.
Made up and mythology. So you should just have a constellation of schools that people go to because of their needs, because of their abilities and their wants. The idea of creating some high school so you can have America, so they can play football, which is a fascist sport, that excludes women.
I mean, I agree. It is a little.
Women on a high school football team in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Well, no. Listen. What'd you ask?
Yeah, so it's sexist too and misogynist.
Are there girls on
say-
football? Is that what you asked?
Let's-
I don't know.
Let's tear the whole
I don't think so.
friggin' thing down. Let's be like Samson and just Samson agonistes. Samson is agony. We'll just destroy the whole edifice. Of course, we're blinded and we die too, but we go out in a blaze of glory. Isn't that what being an artist is?
Well, the best career move Basquiat ever made was dying. Basquiat.
You're a visual artist. I'm a bull bleep artist.
You are a bull bleep artist. You are absolutely correct.
Bull bleep artist.
And you don't know what you're talking about as far as public schools, because I'm sorry, but the most
I went to public
versatile.
school, buddy.
No, I'm sure you. Listen, when you want to get diversity and well-rounded students, you send them to public school. I'm sorry, but you go
No, you
to
don't.
North
No, you
Phillips
don't.
Exeter is one of the more racist schools there is. I mean, they're all way more racist than Central is. I mean, Central is just a public school.
Yeah, I tell you, the kids of color that are going to go to Phillips Exeter Academy or private schools that like friends of mine teach at.
I feel bad for them because they're gonna inevitably.
It's a better environment.
No,
Are
wow.
have much better chance of going on to a Harvard,
Of
Yale,
course.
first-rate school.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to be
Industrial
in
high
a
school.
private quarters having to deal with like school ties stuff. Like, have you seen the movie School Ties? It's very similar, I'm sure. Anti.
That's 100,000 years ago.
It's a.
You have to live in the now, man.
Broski doski. Listen, racism
That's
is
right,
in
bro.
racism never went out of style. I hate to say it.
Dude, that's the word we use. Bro is like, that's
I like
the
broski.
bro.
I like broski.
Dude.
But the fact is, there's more chance to be isolated if you're one of three
Well, look,
instead of one of what? I don't know, 100. I don't know what the ratio is. I know that public school is always considered, more diverse. Am I wrong on saying that? Than Trinity or a Dairyfield school, and they do their thing where they bring in, they make sure to try to diversify it. But that alone, the fact that they have to do that, kind of illustrates my point.
No, it doesn't illustrate it at all.
It does illustrate it because they don't have any diversity, so they go looking for it, as opposed to people in Spruce Street, in Grove Street, and all that.
Schools are racist just from the get-go. They need to be abolished. There should be a different type of schools paradigm that meet people's needs.
Well, yeah, you're thinking way too logically right now.
I'm just saying the public schools came out of white Anglo-Saxon, English-speaking, low church, which means not the Church of England, known as the Anglicans here in America. It's a specific thing because you were supposed to be able to read your Bible for yourself. People don't read their Bibles by themselves anymore. People don't read the Bible. People don't read anything. They're programmed. They're programmed by the device like I'm talking into now. My new SE3 iPhone, which is so small I can barely see what's going on at the studio.
Yeah,
but,
among other things.
People are automatons. The movie of today is Barbie. Why is Barbie a hit? Because people are plastic. They are Barbie.
Have you seen it? It's a mess. So Barbie's a metaphor, John.
Why would I, as an educated person, go see that?
Because,
garbage?
well, Ryan Gosling, number one. Number two.
I don't know. I usually go when it comes to, I go to see an actress.
I'd rather see Ryan Gosling, but anyway, that's my own preference. That's none of your business. And I would say...
Does he have genitals in the movie?
I'm sure he does. I haven't seen it. But people are saying that it's a metaphor. It's a big message. And people cry. And people... it comes full circle. It's well done, I guess.
Americans are idiots. And the whole frigging country is crumbling in a way that everybody, when I was a kid, said this was happening. And now it is happening.
What
America
was
is, the whole, outhouse is about to go up in flames.
What the...
Have you seen pictures of Times Square in New York?
No.
What's going on right now? It's unbelievable. It's like when I was a kid. When I got out of college, I was in New York. I thought I was going to be murdered every day down there.
Well,
in New York.
New York can be scary as a kid, for sure.
Exciting.
I mean, I don't feel like it's that scary anymore, but you're right. The thing is, though...
What happened to... Yeah?
Kyle, he's probably...
We'll have to debate Barbie.
I don't know. Maybe not, but I think that what it was is a message. That's all. It's well done. And movies don't get buzz. They don't get traction unless it can hold its own. If a movie sucks, then it sucks. And people say that. If it's good, people say, you got to see this movie. And then they go see it.
Movies are for 12-year-olds. That's who goes to movies.
Well, then why are they PG-13, huh? Yeah.
Anything that's made for an adult is on, cable TV.
Well, I gotta say...
I'm not talking about adult films either. Well, you're going to have to wrap up the show. I see the time. The time's gone by very fast. Did little Kyle ever make it?
I think he's probably anxiety took over. I'm not going to bash him on it. Whatever. He lets me down and disappoints me constantly. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Because today was supposed to be his show.
Right, but again, you just can't count on him. It's okay though. I love him, but and you too. You disappoint me too. I don't want to get into it with you. You're just like, when are you going to show up to your own show ever?
I think the day I showed up 2 weeks ago when we had Kyle's show, and then you guys were bitching because I showed up.
No, we want you. It's your show. It's your show. You
All
steer
right,
it.
but
let's do an election special.
You to be at the show, you don't show up.
I'll show up for the election special.
I expected you last week, and you didn't show up. We're bitching like two fisher women.
No. Last week, I wanted to do the show, and you said there were new rules in place, which I don't know about that.
There are new rules.
Okay.
There
And
are
then
new rules.
and then the week before I was on my family vacation. What do you want me to do? I was at Papoose
Was
Pond.
that the week we were talking about?
Yeah. But next week, oh, so listen, I've been doing the football games on channel, I think it's 9 now, and check them out. I would like to see your analysis on. I did the jamboree.
Are you doing what I told you? Writing down the games so you can have a column.
So that I have been, but I'm not getting the I'm not getting the replies that I need to get the airtime. Like
I'm sure Carol would publish what you have to say if it
well.
was semi-literate.
Well, no, I did a couple articles in the Inklink last year, remember? But I would say it's fun, but I would like to have you on. It's hard filming and announcing, so I would like to hear because you're a sports guy, and I respect your
When are
opinion.
you going to film next? I'll come and I'll hold the camera.
We're doing it. We're going to West on Friday night. Kyle Heavey and I will be doing the West home game from West, and then
West.
Friday
Okay,
night.
what time?
But Saturday, I could use you more because Kyle, it'll be just. Either way, I don't even really want you there. Actually, to be honest, you're too much of a wild card. You'll say something dumb and get me in trouble.
I would never. Have I ever said anything bad on television?
Yes, you said the S word today.
Well, I have never. No, I've never F-bombed.
4 minutes and 12 seconds into the show, you said a bad word.
And kids are around. I've managed to get through the Army and National Security and all that by being a perfect gentleman.
You are a gentleman, and you are definitely underappreciated in Manchester, John. I'll give you that. But
thank God for that, huh? They'd have me in the loony bin. All right, thanks for doing the show. You wrap up.
All right, thanks. Bye. Can you get rid of him, Brandon? Wow, what a long call. I didn't get to do anything today because Jon Hopwood wanted to talk on his own show. Well, that's our show today. Next week, I'll be finishing this painting, hopefully. If you want to take a look one more time, you can. Yeah, here it is. So don't know what that might be. It could be anything. Like I said, I like to freestyle. I like to go left. And my point was I was giving James Chase a compliment, saying he is the hot artist in town right now. In my opinion, I think it's him and Benji Day are the top artists in the city. It's phenomenal with a couple risers, But Chase can stick to a script and not go left. I don't know about you, Brandon, because you're an artist and I'm an artist. I can't do that. I have to take an audible at some point. But good for him to be able to do that because you can't make a Manchester Greetings mural without having it being perfect perspectives. But check out the show on September 9th and 10th. I'll be there. I don't know who else will be there, but it doesn't really matter because I'll be there. And, thanks to Jon Hopwood for sucking up 50 minutes out of the 60 that I had planned. And really, what did he say? Nothing. But for Kyle Clayton, Jon Hopwood, I'm Gonzo, and I am gone so fast you won't even know it. Peace.